All right, guys. Hello and welcome. We are here for match 3 with the list that you see on screen. We are currently 2-0, hoping to get this 3-0, 4-0, maybe 5-0. We will see. That is to come in the future, but let's just take it one match at a time. We are playing some Monkey Amulet, and if you are not familiar with the deck list, then check out match 1. I do a bit of a deck tech there and talk about the deck building choices and all of that good stuff. So if that's something that you're interested in, then go ahead and check that out. But for now, let's just jump straight into the match. All right, we have our pairing here. Wonder what will be paired against this time. Of course, at this point, you guys already know because you can see the title of this video, but of course, I'm completely in the dark here, so on the draw. Sad, but we'll accept it. See if our opponent reveals the companion here. So far, it's seeming like they are not. We have a hand that has an amulet already, which is nice. We don't have a bounce land, but we can play a turn 1 Grazer or a turn 1 Amulet, depending on what happens. We have an Explorer that we could probably cast after we get this Dryad into play, although there's no guarantees that our Dryad will survive. I think it's still a keep, though, so I'm going to go ahead and give this one a shot. If our opponent leads on a discard spell, we'll still have a 1-drop to play regardless, so we can definitely get this Dryad out on turn 2, assuming, of course, that they don't take away our Dryad with a discard spell. We have Cavern Souls to play around Counter Magic also, so... And if our opponent's on an aggressive deck, then we have Grazer to kind of cover the ground a bit, so... We got a lot of different things going for several different matchups, as our opponent does lead on a Mountain, and perhaps a Lava Spike. I was going to say perhaps a Goblin Guide, that would be pretty nice. Oh, well, we have a Bounce Land, which is amazing. Against a Lava Spike deck, I think we want to lead on Grazer here. So that's what I'm going to do. Of course, using Cavern Naming Beast. And here's the Grazer. We'll put out this Valakut and call it a day. Pass it back. This way, if our opponent has some kind of prowess threat or haste threat, we can now block it with the Grazer. Perhaps they top deck it. Our opponent could be on like red-white burn or something, in which case we'd much rather have the Grazer in play. See a Bloodstained Mire. Okay. And pass. Interesting. Well, I suppose we're just playing Azusa into Dryad this turn. It's a little unfortunate that, our Azusa can die to a lightning bolt effect. But I suppose if that does happen, then we'll just cast Explorer instead. So this should be fine. And while we only have one Amulet out, it's safe to yield to Amulet triggers. But the second we draw another Amulet, that is going to be the moment that we have to consider unyielding here. Alright, so Azusa's in play. Step 1 has been accomplished. If Azusa does not die immediately, then we'll be able to play Dryad and Explore this turn. Now, it looks like our opponent is letting everything happen here, so we do get our Dryad into play, which is very fortunate for us. Definitely not expected, but we will take it. And now we can try to cycle this Explorer and hopefully find a Titan. Maybe not for this turn's casting, of course, but we'll name Giant here just to be safe. And let's cast this Explorer. Another Explorer. Well, I guess we're casting that one also. Just the classic Amulet Storm hand over here, no big deal. And we have a Titan. Perfect. Well, unless our opponent has a discard spell, I'd say we're looking fantastic here. Our opponent is on a red-white here, Boros, so probably just a Boros burn deck. Helix or Boros Charm incoming, and it is the Boros Charm here doing 4 damage to us, of course. And yeah, this is fantastic news. Burn is a great matchup for Amulet in general, especially when you're playing Grazers. If you're playing Tribe Scouts, it can be a little more difficult, but and we've seemingly dodged a Searing Blaze here, which is nice. Bolt. Okay. I suppose they have Skewer the Critics or Light Up the Stage. Yep, Skewer. That's the only reason they would main phase Bolt, is to get some damage through to us. And now we get to resolve a Titan, and that's probably just game, in all honesty, but... Let's see, so we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mana this turn, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, 6 off the Azusa, 7, 8 off the Dryad, 9, 10, 11. So we can play a Titan, have 5 floating, get Telaria West and a bounce land, transmute Telaria West and cast a second Titan here. I think we can get 2 Titans on the battlefield this turn. That might be a little overkill, but, I mean, come on. We gotta do it right. We also might just be able to kill our opponent with Valakut triggers, in all honesty, if we don't use all of our land drops. Because we're only going to be able to haste an attack with the 1 Titan. So, say we were to float the mana, pick up the Cavern Naming Beast, play it again, play Titan, get second Valakut Hanweir, haste and attack, we'd be able to get 3 times 2 is 6 Valakut triggers, plus however many land drops we have after. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine to just go for that. We want to make sure we have 4 land names in play, so we're actually going to get Valakut triggers off of the Titan searching for second Valakut and Hanweir, so name Giant with this one also. And not playing around anything. Titan into play. No reason to try to make it uncounterable or anything. It's not like our opponent is playing blue. So here we get Valakut and Hanweir. We can save targets these triggers upstairs, stack these amulets, and then always yes, always yield. And our opponent should basically just be dead at this point. We don't even have to attack with our creatures here to end the game, so... Alright, game 2. Against Burn, we want explosives to deal with their 1-drops for sure. I'm not a big fan of Dismember in this matchup, but I do like Reclamation Sage, as it can block a creature and trade, or it can kill an Eidolon of the Great Revel when it comes into play, and it also plays around Blood Moon, so we'll have that one. Dismember losing us life to gain us life, probably not the most relevant, so not really big on that. We can use Wilt as well to play around Blood Moon and Eidolon, but I don't know how good that is. We can always just cycle it. So I'm going to bring in 1 just to see how it goes. Explore not looking the best. Spirit Guide's probably not necessary, but they're not bad either. I think Turn Timber can go. We don't want to shock that one in, or take 3 damage to get that one in untapped, and we'd rather have a guaranteed Titan. I think getting to Titan won't be too difficult here. Although, in all honesty, Bojuka Bog doesn't do anything, so I think I'd rather have the Turn Timber over the Bog. Yeah, I guess we can submit it like this. Nice and simple. We could have 1 Pact of Negation, I suppose, to play around Deflecting Palm. I don't know if that's something that I want to play around, though. Burn decks, from what I've seen, recently don't play Deflecting Palm, but I could be wrong. There's not a whole lot of Boros Burn recently anyways. I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. Alright, on the draw again. We managed to steal the game away on the draw in game 1, so we'll see if we can do it again. And we have the Radiant Fountain just naturally on our hand here. I think we keep this. Hopefully our Amulet doesn't get Destructive Revelried, but... You know, I can understand that what has to happen if it does get destroyed. Goblin Guide, please, opponent. Play Goblin Guide. There we go. Bounce lane off the top. Simic Growth Chamber. That's what we're looking for. Simic Growth Chamber. Gruul Turf. I'll take it. Absolutely will take that. And we get the Simic Growth Chamber too. Wow, this is just Christmas come late here. Alright, Amulet into play, pass it back. This way we can play Garen Brig into Grazer. And then maybe Summoner's Pact 4 and cast a 3-drop, and maybe not. We'll see. Our opponent is cracking the Arid Mesa. See if they search for... Nope, no Destructive Revelry lands, so... Eidolon of the Great Revel. That one is fine with me. We can take a few damage from our Eidolons here. Not a huge deal. Ooh, Simian Spirit Guide. We are one short of casting a Titan this turn, actually. So I guess we'll just have to do it next turn. Unless we wanted to take a ton of damage and pack for a Titan, pack for a Grazer, play 2 Grazers. There's no way we'll be able to survive a turn where we double Summoner's Pact right now. So let's just get the Grazer into play here. Of course, we can always yield. Always yield to the Eidolon triggers also. Might as well always yield to the Grazer. We'll put the... I don't know if it matters. Ghost Quarter into play. That way we can search for a basic forest if our opponent has a Blood Moon or if we need to activate Garenbrig here. And we have Titan next turn. You know, it might have been better, actually, to put in the Gruul Turf or Growth Chamber and just pick up the Radiant Fountain and replay it. Like, as the land from our Grazer. I didn't even think about that, because before we started this turn, or I guess last turn we had 0 bounce lands, and this turn we had 2. I definitely was not expecting to have a duplicate bounce land here. See what we reveal. Turn Timber Symbiosis, which, interestingly enough, does not get put into our hand, because the side that was revealed with the guide is just a big sorcery spell, of course. Come on. There we go. We'll draw the Turn Timber. It's, like, no big deal. We don't want to Ghost Quarter ourselves just to shuffle it away, so... In fact, we probably don't want to Ghost Quarter ourselves at all. Having this Radiant Fountain in play to pick up and copy with Vesuva and all that good stuff is going to be quite relevant, I think. If our opponent taps out here, then we'll definitely haste our Titan, but if they don't, holding up, like, Path or Deflecting Palm, then we might just search for the copies of a Radiant Fountain that we can make. I suppose we could pack 4 and play a Dryad, and then use our second land drop and the Dryad ability to float the green to activate the Garenbrig. We'd have to double Summoner's Pact, though, which I don't know is worth it. It probably isn't. Rough. A second Eidolon, huh? Okay. That one is kind of painful. I don't think we want another Dryad in play now. And our opponent is letting us attack with our Titan this turn. So... we can get a Titan into play, haste it, and attack. It will have 4 lands in play at max. Probably 3 lands up to 5 lands on the ETB trigger. 7 lands after we attack to get blockers for the Eidolon. So it's okay to attack with our Titan here. Alright. I'm just going to play out the Growth Chamber here. Untap it, of course. Float all the mana that we would like. And I'll pick up the Ghost Quarter. We'll cast this Summoner's Pact. Take our well-deserved Eidolon trigger damage. Get the Primeval Titan. And exile the Spirit Guide. Cast this Titan. Always yield. So, it's obvious that we're getting Valakut and Handir to haste here. The question is, are we going for Radiant Fountain value and just trying to copy it with a Vesuva, or are we going for Field of the Dead to make blockers? It's not really clear. If we got Radiant Fountain and a bounce land, I mean, we'd have to cast another Summoner's Pact, and that would cost us 4 life anyways. But we could pack for a Dryad, play the Dryad, play a land, and get a Valakut trigger. And kill, like, one of the Eidolons or, like, the Goblin Guide. I think it's fine to just go for the Field of the Dead here. I doubt that our opponent can kill us from 10 if we have all these blockers in place, so we'll go for Field of the Dead and another differently named land. I guess the Talari West makes sense, although we have another pact in hand, so maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe a forest. It doesn't really let us play around anything anyways. Let's just go with the Talari West. Sure. Yield to these field triggers. And pass it back to our opponent. I suppose if they had a land destruction effect that would kill one of our green sources here, then we would die to our pact trigger, so maybe that was a bit of an oversight. Maybe it should have been a forest after all, because I was thinking a forest doesn't let us survive a blood moon here, but it would play around our opponent having a, I don't know, something crazy like a Fulminator Mage. We will go ahead and kill this Eidolon out of play, no big deal. Yeah, our opponent needs some help. They're passing back, so it would seem, or perhaps attacking. I'm not going to look up Deflecting Palm. Maybe I'll put a picture of it here for you guys to see. We'll pay for our pact, of course. Actually, while we're here, let's just go use the Magic Online database to look up Deflecting Palm. That might work a little better. There we go. 2 mana instant. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, it deals that much damage to the source's controller. So this, for example, if we went for the Valakut kill instead of attacking with the Primeval Titan, would only stop 3 damage from the Valakut and definitely would not kill us, whereas we might be taking a huge chunk of damage from our Primeval Titan. So we might plan to win via Valakut. I don't think we have enough land drops for that, though. Ooh, so if we get a Dryad into play first and then attack, we can kill them with Valakut triggers before the Primeval Titan would ever get the chance to do damage, and that does play around Deflecting Palm. So that's what I'm going to go for. Let's play the Cavern, I suppose, naming Dryad. Sure. If it'll go. And with our opponent's mana situation, we don't have to worry about going to 8, because our opponent could have, like, triple bolt or something if they had a third land, but they don't have a third land, which means going to 8... I guess this does mean that we're going to 6 to cast this Dryad. Dying to double bolt, huh? Our opponent hasn't cast any 1-drops at all yet. I think it's still correct to go for it. Hopefully I don't get punished for this. Maybe we're playing around Deflecting Palm and losing to double bolt here. In which case, I guess I deserve the loss, but... Our opponent's tapping red and white, which means we're probably not dead to double bolt. We'll never know, by the way, if our opponent had Deflecting Palm or not. They're casting Helix on a zombie. You got it. Okay, well, I think we win then. Go to combat. Attack with everything. Yes. Get Valakut and Vesuva copying Valakut. Save targets upstairs. Amulet. Amulet. Field. Field. Always yes. Always yes. Always yield. One of these is not auto-yesed. That's okay, though, because we win the match regardless. Our opponent says GG. GG to them as well. Good games. All right, so we are on the hot 3-0 streak here. That is exciting, playing against Burn. Let me know if you think that I made a mistake by trying to play around Deflecting Palm there and putting myself dead to double bolt. I kind of feel like that was probably a mistake, but ultimately it did not end up costing us, so at least we'll be grateful for that. And yeah, this deck is fire. I don't know what else to say. I'll see you guys for match 4, where hopefully we can get this 4-0, an eventual 5-0, but I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on our performance. Let's just play and learn and have some fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Redface Menace, signing off.